All right, so we discussed creating files, uploading files, and then accessing files, of course. Now, once you get using Google Drive a lot, you're going to use it a lot, and what's going to happen is you're going to find you end up with this enormous list of files that not only you created, but that people share with you. So it's important to manage that, organize that, and learn how to do those things. So first important thing, a lot of times when you log into your drive, it's going to default to my drive, your drive. The issue with that is someone could have just said, hey, I shared a file with you, go into your drive and get it. And you jump into you go to drive.google.com, you log in, and it's not there. Part of that is because if someone shares a file with you, it's not necessarily part of your drive. Now, first let's talk about a quick way to find that file. Simplest way that I usually tell people is if you go up here, for me it's a Google logo because I'm in a Gmail, personal Gmail. Under your school, it's probably like a school logo of some sort. If I click that, it's going to bring up all of my items shared with me, created by me, and you'll usually find it pretty quickly. Now, there is a way to fix that too. Down the left side here, we have all of our different options for views. Next, under my drive, and if I can expand my drive and find folders, but next to that is shared with me. Now, these are files that have been shared with me, but they're not necessarily part of my drive, and it tells you up here, oh, I can drag those over to my drive, and it can show up right away. So I can grab one of these files, drag it into my drive, and then it's going to show up there. I usually just stay in this all items list. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, there's a start option, just like in Gmail. I can mark something that seems important to me, and I can come back to it later as a start. Recent's going to show you things you opened lately, things you edited lately, etc. Now it probably defaults to the more here, so you click that. Once you head into that, there are a couple different lists here. Activity is going to show you similar to recent, which is opened, edited, etc. Offline docs we'll talk about later. The all items, if you click that, that's the same as clicking on the logo up here. It's going to show you all these different items. Now trash, you can see mine is totally empty. If I delete a file in Google, so if I take this practice document that I created in the last video, and I either click it and trash it, or I drag it into the trash, which I'll do, it's not actually gone. It's just in the trash, and things aren't really gone until I empty my trash. So I'm going to do that. It says, are you sure? You're not, are you worried about losing it? So I click empty it, and now it's gone, forever. So the owner type more we'll get to in a minute. This download Google Drive, probably when you first log in, this banner shows up top that's trying to get you to download it. We're going to talk about that later, and the fact that Drive is not only your list here of all your cloud documents, it's also a software that you can download and use to sync up things on your machine and things like that too. We're not going to worry about that right now. So I head back to my list. There's a couple ways to sort. First is last edited by me. I like the last modified. That's what I usually use, because if I'm working on something with someone like a curriculum plan and they edit it, what it'll do is it'll jump that doc up to the top of my list, and I can see that someone else was working on it. You can see last opened by me, alphabetically, title, or quota use. Now, this is important. I didn't mention this last time. Another reason that I always convert files into the docs format is if they're converted to docs format, it doesn't count against my space. Drive gives you 5 gigabytes. If I convert it, it doesn't count. If I jump to this quota used, I can see files, and you see it orders it by biggest file first. If I'm for some reason getting close to my quota and I gotta try to get rid of some of those files, I can go into this sort view and I can start to delete some of these files. Okay, I'm gonna go back to last modified. It's my preferred. You can also do the grid view. I'm not a fan. You might be. Settings. We already talked about upload settings. You can see a few of these other things, but we'll just hop into settings here for a moment. There's not much you're gonna do in here. It'll show you how much you're using of your quota, of your storage. Another potentially useful one is how you want things to open when you click them from your drive. I like them opening in a new window because it preserves my drive tab, which I like to quickly jump back to. I know some people who can't stand when you're clicking on these different documents, you end up with 20 tabs and it drives them crazy. So they like to do it in the current window. Like I said, I like the ability to just quickly get back to my drive, so that's why I leave that. The only thing in editing is for languages that go right to left. Not gonna mess with that. All right, the last sorting thing, and I can get to it from here, you can see it jumps up there, or I can jump to it from this little drop down, is just another way to quickly organize things to find them. So I can just click forms and it'll bring up all my forms. And I can add to that search. So I can say only forms owned by me. And I can say, and now I can do keyword searches. And this is, in some ways, I think Google discourages organization because of how quickly they can search things, because of, just they're this unbelievable data company who is constantly indexing things and sorting things for you to make everything that you do faster. So let me get rid of these searches. And what I can do is I can search for a keyword. It's not only going to search titles, names of the documents, it's also going to search words within it, which is just amazing. So let's say I want to search for attendance. It's going to find anything with that in its title, or that has the word attendance within the actual file. And let's say I want it to also have the word teacher in. So this is all just adding on to this. And maybe I want attendance and teacher, but I only want, documents that have that. Or I only want, let's get rid of this. Or I only want forms with those two words. You can see I have one. So the fact that I can sort it down so quickly, I do very little organization on the front end with folders and My Drive and any of that, because I know I can just so quickly search for things, and it's usually one of the fastest ways to get there. Last thing in the way of sorting, managing, is like a lot of Google products, the menu up here at the top changes. So if I click something, you're going to see it's going to bring up all these options. So I unclick, click, you see it comes back, right? And I have some options. I'll start way on the right, actually. You can open it with different things. Share we'll talk about in a second. The more I most often use for the download, because not everyone sadly has a Google account yet for me to share it with, and I do need to email things once in a while. In that case, I can go to more, download, I can download it as a PDF, and then I can attach it to an email. I can preview something with a little eye there. I can trash it. Remember, that's not really deleted until I empty my trash. I can organize into folders. I can also share right from here. I can share from within a document, or I can share out here from Drive. And I can do the same with folders. So if I click that, it's actually going to bring me right to the sharing settings for that document or presentation or spreadsheet. And then I can start adding people who I want to be able to collaborate with, right? So I can start adding people. I can add Joe in here, and I can give him specific sharing privileges. I can let him edit it, only comment, or only view it, right? And I can share with a person, or I can share with a group if I have contact groups set up within my Gmail. Now, not only can I add collaborators this way from within the sharing, I can also decide who can see it in general, right? So I can make it public for anyone to see, only people with the link, or I can leave it private for only me and collaborators. And I do that through the change there. So that's it for organization. In the next video, we're going to talk about offline docs, and then also cloud computing generally, and more specifically to Google and how that relates to Drive.